The auditorium buzzed with restless energy, everyone pressed close on the folding chairs beneath the tented canvas. The Johannesburg College logo hovered huge on the banner by the stage, blue gold, forever out of reach. During all those nights, I'd staggered into sleep with camera catalogues piled at my bedside. Heart jackhammering, I walked up when they called my name, feeling the weight of my parents' stares even before I got to the podium. I had been chosen to give the graduation speech. Someone must have voted for me out of pity or out of ignorance, because by then my reputation in our community was something between a cautionary tale and a farce. I took a shaky breath, notes clutched in sweaty hands. A camera waited just beyond the curtain's edge, my own, not yet battered, still fresh from my savings after 2 years scrubbing in a kitchen. Light played across the gym-turned hall from slats in the temporary windows. I tried to meet my mother's eyes. She looked away. I spoke. My voice at first barely carried. Sometimes you spend years convincing yourself you can become something different than what your family expects. A few people in the back shifted. I pressed on. I want to thank everyone who stood by me when I... A spat of laughter rose from the left row. I recognized the voice, my cousin Lindu. You'll be thanking us from the back of the unemployment line, Malum, someone snickered. My throat tightened. The teachers didn't intervene. A hush fell, not protective but complicit. I willed myself not to leave the stage. Instead, I tried to push words out, hastily flipping my speech to the end. If you love what you do, that's half the fight already, I muttered. Congratulations, class of 2014. Smattering of applause, my ears buzzed. I got off, heat crawling up the back of my neck, sweat trickling between my shoulder blades. The crowd split around me. Some faces looked sympathetic, others just uncomfortable. Outside, the air was too bright, too sharp. Photographers swirled around families, pulling them together for the mandatory photos. No one wanted one with me. My parents waited by the car, my diploma clutched in my hand like a burned offering. On the drive home, silence. My father's hands at 10 and 2. My mother sat rigid, lips pressed thin. I just hope you have a plan, Sophizo, my father said finally, locking his eyes on the road instead of the rear view. I do, I managed. A snort from the front. My brother Jumi sat in the passenger seat scrolling through his phone. You'll see, they don't hire dreamers, they hire accountants. The house is changed, gold-tipped and leafy near campus, crumbling as we moved towards Soweto, colors bleeding out to grey. Each minute I felt smaller, my hands wrapped so tightly around my camera bag my knuckles ached. I tried to tell myself their words didn't matter, but as weeks wore on, the shame clung to me. I answered my father's questions about real jobs with shrugs. Dinner was a cold, silent affair. Jumi got an internship at a bank. My mother boasted about his prospects to neighbors who lingered beside the washing lines. I spent my days walking the streets, camera at my side, eyes wide for beauty snatching at the corners of ordinary life, sunlight breaking through storm clouds, a child chasing a dog through a dusty alley, the cracked paint on a shopfront singing with hidden color. Once I caught a perfect moment, an old man spinning a tale to a group of schoolboys, laughter rising like birds. I snapped the picture, the boys saw me and scattered, the old man glared. Photographer, nay. Who's going to feed you on stories? I kept walking, months stretched to years. My parents' questions became accusations. When will you stop playing? And do you think we're made of money? I worked odd jobs, saved what I could, bought better lenses piece by piece. I entered competitions online, sending snippets of Johannesburg, grit and tenderness mashed together, hoping for a call that never came. Then one year I got one. It was the Johannesburg Sun's youth competition, top prize. A small grant and a month's internship with a senior photojournalist and a sit-hole. I nearly deleted the email, sure it was a scam. Anda met me in the Sun's drab offices, her hair pulled back, her voice brisk but kind. You're Sophizo, she asked, flipping through my portfolio. Your people shots, they hurt but they also breathe. You want this work for fame? No, I said quietly, I want it to be real. For somebody to see what I see. She looked at me sideways for a long, uncomfortable stretch. We'll see what you can do, she decided. The next month dug under my skin, early mornings, late afternoons. I followed Yanda into corners of the city I'd never seen, abandoned factories, brawling taxi ranks, a tent camp outside Melville. She moved with purpose, sharp but not cruel. One day after I dragged my feet at the edge of a protest, she snapped, "You want pretty, pretty's poison. Go stand in it, Sophizo, don't look away." I did, my shoes crusted with mud, heart rattling against my ribs. I lifted my camera and waited for the exact instant. Someone's fist raised, another's wild, hopeful eyes, dust and fury coiling around them. I found a piece of myself there, fear yes, but hunger too. I started chasing images, not just collecting them. At home, little changed. My mother still asked when I'd be getting a job with a uniform. My father stopped asking altogether, his disappointment silent and thick as winter fog. Jumi moved out, touted as the family's future. On Sundays, I came home to roast chicken and muted icy rooms. Near the end of my internship, I sold my first photograph to a national magazine, a boy leaping across a burning trash heap, legs flying, his shadow stretched behind him. They paid more than I made in a week at the car wash. When I tried to tell my parents, they only exchanged glances. It's not stable, my mother whispered later, folding laundry with jagged, quick movements. Life isn't art, my boy. I stayed away longer after that, sleeping in hostels and the couches of new friends from the paper. Sometimes I missed birthdays or funerals. I traveled to Cape Town, to rural Limpopo, once all the way to Namibia on a shoestring, chasing commissions for anyone who would pay. There were hungry months when I thought of giving in, pushing my CV to an office wearing a tie for my father's sake. But then I'd see something, sunset splitting against glass or faces pressed close in a sharing of secrets at a market, and the pull would come again. 4 years later, I was sitting on the cracked balcony of my flat in Braamfontein when the email came. It was from an editor at Worldview magazine in London. They had seen my series on the mine protests. How did I feel about doing an exhibition in partnership with their South African bureau? I thought at first it was a prank. I stared at the blinking cursor, numb. The offer was real. The preparations moved at dizzying speed, agreements signed, visas arranged, flyers went out. They wanted me to present in Johannesburg, then travel abroad. Anders sent me a note. You stood in it, proud of you always. I went back home before the show, out of some mixture of guilt and habit. My old room had been cleared out, now a storeroom, my boxes crushed behind tins of paint. My mother studied my face, cautious. You look tired, my boy. I'm going to have a showing, I said, letting the words sit between us. A flicker of worry, like at a market. I shook my head, pressing the thick invitation card into her hands. This is for people from all over. I want you and Papa to come. She pressed her lips together. The silence looked like sorry. I'll ask him, she said. I left, caught between hope and old ache. 2 weeks passed. The night of the exhibition arrived. Standard Bank Gallery gleamed with polished floorboards, the art crowd in their linen shirts and easy laughter. On the walls, frames held slices of my life, boys in leaping joy, women bent over fires in early morning, a protester's stare filled with a flame undimmed. My heart thrummed. I scanned the crowd for someone familiar. At first, nothing. Then, just past the coat check, my father. His suit hugged his shoulders like borrowed armor. My mother beside him, awkward in an old skirt. They kept their hands close. Behind them, another knot, aunties, Lindu in too bright lipstick, Jumi in his banker's attire. Skeptical eyes flicked from canvas to me. People pressed close, speaking words I half heard, striking, honest, raw. The director cleared her throat beside me and gestured me forward. Time for the talk. I stepped into the circle, hands loose at my sides, breath slow. My words came easier this time. Photography taught me that beauty is a form of survival, I began, voice steady. We take pictures because things slip away. Johannesburg, my Johannesburg, is heartbreak and hope side by side. These images are not just art, they are proof. People nodded. They asked questions, dug deep into technique, motivation, meaning. Behind them, my father hovered at the edge. He would not come nearer. My mother pressed her fingers to her lips, looking not quite proud, but something near it. At the end, the director called it, "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's artist, Sifiso Ngobese." People clapped, it thundered through my chest. Auntie Thembeka's eyes widened. I saw the moment she recognized my name beneath a photo. Lindu looked away, cheeks red. I caught Jumi meeting my gaze, smiling reluctantly, but there, after I moved through the small crowd, my father waited, hands jammed in pockets. "It's good work," he said finally. His words limped, unfamiliar. My mother lingered at a photo, an old man smiling, his eyes shining with reflected dawn. She leaned in close, fingertips brushing the glass as if to check if the moment was real. "You did this," she whispered. "Yes." We lingered past midnight, the gallery emptying out. Some in our family left quickly, unable or unwilling to be convinced. But most stayed, circling the room again, looking at faces they knew, streets they'd walked, now immortal in print. I stood at a distance, exhaustion and pride swirling through me, and for the first time in so long, clarity settled. Their voices would always be part of my world, but no longer gatekeepers. My city opened up before me, beautiful, unruly, alive inside every frame. When the credits rolled on the last guest and the lights faded to soft gold, I thought of graduation day, my voice swallowed, my dreams too fragile. But now I spoke with my eye and my hands, and the proof was all around us, undeniable. I never stopped coming home after that, no matter where the next exhibition took me. I brought stories, not apologies. My family learned to ask about my work first, sometimes proud, sometimes still bewildered, but no longer mocking. Johannesburg stretched behind me in the rearview, lights like spilled jewels, rain glimmering on the tar. I drove back out, hungry for the next photograph, the city, my city, forever calling me into its uncertain, brilliant light.